Hello, Rhian Thomas. So good to see you. I love
Oh, hello,
actually,
Glynis.
I
Hello, everybody.
just love your energy. So we're talking today because you've had some big success manifesting recently. And I know we've done a few things before. You've been in my Change Makers Club years ago, a little membership site, and you did another course with me, Unlimited, um, which was a higher ending price course. But now we have the Dream Catchers Collective. And what I've been doing in that is helping you with your future dreams, your future visualization. And so, just to give people a little bit of behind the scenes, what we do in that is we use hypnosis instead of going back and regressing to find something, if some reason why something isn't happening or working or finding blocks. We use it to go forward and to find a timeline that you love and that looks happy. And we look for three scenes along the way, to get to where you want to get. And of course, you can do this many times. When you get those things, you can do it again and move forward. But Rhian is just the quickest person to get results. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got on with that, because I
Oh,
love
I've loved all the groups that I've been part of, Glynis. They've been amazing. And the transformation, I look back and who I was a few years ago to now, it's
it.
just can't compare the two people. So the clarity module that was the first module.
Which is the
Or
future
I'm
vision.
sorry about the dogs in the
Go
background.
on, that's okay. It's fine.
So what happened with clarity, with hypnosis, we had the visualizations. I couldn't believe how quickly what I'd seen came true because it was focused. Um, I don't meditate, but I well meditate in a kind of in a free um, way, not kind of disciplined. I don't have a place where I meditate, etc. Or any. I don't do it kind of religiously. But I had this. The first vision was me sitting on the beach, cross-legged, looking at sunset by the sea. So I thought when I visualized it, I thought, well, I don't really meditate. I don't think I would be meditating on a beach. I thought about it. It didn't really make sense, and um, I was quite surprised by that visualization. And it came about so kind of like I'd not planned it in any way that I'd be sitting on a, you know what I mean? There wasn't any kind of forethought into it, but I was going. I'd been in a healing fair in the morning. I was meeting the sister of well a boyfriend that I'd had that died, and I was going up to meet. Well, I've met her before, but I was going up to catch up with her,
Okay.
and she'd arranged the place, and I found myself on the beach, cross-legged, looking at the sunset, thinking to myself, "I'm here. This is it. This is the first visualization," and it was just by accident. I really hadn't. There was no kind of full thought.
Yes.
And then I found myself almost like stepping into that visualization, and it really was surprising.
Yeah.
And there was another visualization that I was standing outside a grand house with two pillars, and I was outside opening an envelope underneath a tree, and I was really surprised. I didn't see what was written in the envelope. I assumed it was something to do about my writing. And what had happened, but there was also that visualization of looking at the plane. I saw a plane.
Okay.
There wasn't any trail, so it just looked like a floating bus. You see what I mean? Because there wasn't
A
any
real
kind of.
plane.
There was. It was like the aeroplane was up, but there wasn't no. There was kind of like trails. I suppose it's the temperature of the.
Mm.
You usually see that there's a kind of like the pathway is left in
Yeah.
the air, But this particular plane up in the air would just look like a floating. And
Okay.
when I saw myself on it, I knew I had that feeling I was on that plane. And it was the very next day, Ellen, my daughter's father, he offered to pay for a holiday. And
To
I was just like, I was blown away by that.
a
I
holiday to
just,
Greece.
wow. Yes, and
Yeah.
can I just tell you the background
Yeah.
of Greece? Now, I
Okay.
used to teach English on Mykonos, so I suppose that you could call me a bit of a Shirley Valentine. Not that I'm looking for any romance, that's not what I mean, but the very island was Mykonos. So I lived there 8 years. I haven't been back for 20 years.
Wow.
I haven't been anywhere for 20 years, and not even flown anywhere.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah.
can put it in that kind of perspective, 20 years when I've got really, really close friends out there. And so when he said he's paying for holiday, I was just like, I've just visualized myself on the plane. And I couldn't believe how quickly that had come about. It
Yeah.
was just amazing.
Mm.
And then when it came to, I had, there was a bit of a problem because the customs with the passport for my daughter were really, I've got words for them, but I won't use them here. Um, we were coming back a month before Ellen's expiry date on her passport, but they wanted 3 months from
That's
departure date.
that. Yeah.
And it all came crashing down, and I thought to myself, oh no. And I thought, and things were so difficult because every step that I took, there was a there was a blockade. And I but what was good about it was I started contacting everybody that I knew on the island to help me out. So I
Okay.
started reforming these connections, and everybody was relinking with me, and I felt they really want me there.
Yeah.
And it's somehow okay. It's not going to happen now. I had to reschedule the
And
flights.
I just you
Uh,
so oh yes, the flight was earlier, and so you
yeah,
felt you missed that, but
and
you were
also my best friend, she paid for the hotel, so the hotel was paid for, the flights were paid for, the customs were being what we call
awkward.
them, and I couldn't get around customs at all, so I ended up rescheduling the flight. And then my friend, she couldn't find accommodation within the price range of,
Yeah.
we were talking about extreme expense. It's one of the most expensive islands. It's horrifically expensive. And I'd rescheduled 18 days.
Yeah. So
And
you
I'm
were going
thinking,
at a peak
no,
time then as well.
because the cost of that,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, what have I done? It's like, oh no. And then after that, there's a friend of mine who just turned around and said, I've got a camper van. You could feed my chickens, feed the cats, and just pay for the water. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. So it's all happening. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could say things now that the universe could be listening to.
Yeah.
I
But I
am just,
remember actually when I was talking to you, when you told me the first time, and what you were doing was, you were saying, I can't believe it. This is happening. I can't believe it. And I said, believe it. Don't tell the
yeah,
universe you can't believe it, because it looked like that
yeah,
stalled it. But then you changed your mindset as well to make those things happen. You looked,
yes,
and one of the things you did was you looked for a solution. You actively
yes,
connected with those people,
yes.
and when you look and when you expect.
Mm.
So I
And
love that
there were
story.
other methods of kind of going into the manifesting of it, because I was feeling myself in the water swimming, and I
Yeah,
knew I was there, you know,
yeah,
and I could feel that. And also, what's I think's led up to this as well was the bearing went on the car, and it was so noisy. It felt like a lawnmower driving the car, and it was almost like an embarrassment to drive the car. And I was relying on my boyfriend to fix it, and he hadn't found the problem. So I had weeks and weeks of driving around in this incredible noisy car. Sorry, I'm laughing so much. It's so noisy. But I visualized that I was riding my motorbike back in Greece. And
Wow.
that feeling of just being on the back of the motorbike was part, I think, of the manifesting the feeling of being there. And it just came through.
I love that story. Well, I thank you so much for sharing that with me on this because I think people need to know these little stories. It's so valuable. And I think because what we were doing together was that future visualizing where you saw those three scenes, you felt the feelings from it as if it was now. So it's easier to visualize when you're in that state of,
Mm.
because it's in the alpha level of mind or the theta level that you're doing the audios and listening to it and imagining it. So you made it happen. So I love that. Thank you so much for
I,
sharing
I'm,
that.
I can't tell you how amazed I am that I have stepped forwards to being confident enough to go to take
Yeah.
my daughter on my own. I know it's somewhere I lived and it's so familiar, and I have friends there, and they're going to be so happy, and I'm going to be delighted. I've got a friend who's oh, this is crazy, but she's I had a dream. I was expecting twins, and I woke up in the morning and told my boyfriend in bed, I'm expecting twins. And then 3 days later, my best friend from Greece said, I'm expecting twins.
Wow.
She's the same age as me, having twins. She's had premature twins the same time. Ellen's also premature the same time.
Gosh.
And I'm going to be there for their second birthday. There's still only one.
Oh, I love.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to take my daughter. She's going to have a birthday there. And I just can't believe this is, oh,
You can.
I
You
can
can
believe this is me.
believe.
Watch. I've got to watch myself. Yeah, I can believe this is me. Thank you,
And you know what?
twins.
I love all of the things that you've been doing since we've been working together, and you were writing a book, and that book was taking you 20 years or something to write,
Yes,
and you just went with it, doing that work. You ended up getting not an agent. What did you get? You got
I I got an editor
an editor.
who's given me a fantastic report back on it. I'm going to
Fantastic.
do quite a lot of fixing with it, but they know it's got
They
potential,
do.
and I
They
do
do.
as well. I've got to just kind of reweave a few of the,
Yeah.
go through it, and the volume of the writing, it means that it's a bit daunting. But I think going back to Greece is where I started writing. So I'm actually going back to get re-inspired, I
Oh,
think,
do you
as
know
well.
what? I have goose pimples. This is truth bumps. This is going to be something that is awesome for you. It's going to be the icing on the cake. It's going to finish that. You're going to get that book out there, and it's going to be so inspiring because I just love the sound of it. And we'll talk about that on another one actually. When you've that, because I know that that's going to happen. It's fabulous.
Oh, thank
Rhian,
you. And
thank you so much. Thank you
thank
so
you, everybody.
much.
It was lovely. Big hug.
And you.